Good day, everyone. My name is Cherish Villadesma, and I am here to discuss the approaches to studying intercultural communication. Why is it there a need to understand intercultural communication? It is easy to say that people who are belong to diverse cultures need to understand others as well. But we all know it is easier to said than be done. Some people even take it for granted to learn and understand the country's culture before traveling it. It is important to be aware of other cultures, especially those that you want to visit, to avoid offending the people there and to avoid misinterpretations, miscommunications, and to understand them. All cultures are equal, and though sometimes it is difficult to understand, you need to understand that there is no culture that are superior or inferior. For us to better understand the concept of intercultural communication, there are three approaches that explained by Martin Nakayama in 2010 that can be studied. And these approaches are the social science or functionalist, then the interpretative, and the critical. First is we have the discipline on which approach is founded. And in social sciences or functionalist, we have the study of psychology. And then the interpretative, we have the anthropology and the social linguistics. And then in critical, we have various forms of discipline on which approaches is founded. And in the second one, we have the research goal. In research goal, in the social science, it described and predict behavior. And then the interpretative of it is it describes the behavior of the goal of your research. And then we have the critical, it change the behavior. The third one is the assumption of reality. When we say assumption of reality, it is external and describable in social science or in functionalist. And it is subjective when it comes to interpretative. And in critical, it is subjective and material. And the fourth one is the assumption of human behavior. It is a predictable when it comes to social science and functionalists, and it is a creative and voluntary interpretative. And in critical, it is changeable. So it means it can be changed. And then the fifth one is the method of the study. When we say the method of the study, in the first approach, which is the social science or functionalist, it is requires a survey or observation. And in the interpretative, it is a participant observation and field of study. And in the critical or the third approach is need a contextualized analyzers of media. And the sixth one is the relationship of culture and communication. So when we say relationship of culture and communication, in the first approach, it communication, it's communication influenced by culture. And in interpretative, the culture created and maintained through communication. And in critical, the culture as a site of power struggle. And the last is the contribution of the approach. In the first approach, which is the social science or functionalist, it identifies cultural variations, recognizes the cultural differences in many aspects of communication, but often does not consider context. And in the second approach, where is the interpretative, it emphasizes that the communication and culture and cultural differences should be studied in context. And then the last approach is the critical, which recognizes the economic and political forces of or in culture that all intercultural interactions are characterized by the power. There are advantages and limitations of the three approaches. First is the social science. Its advantage is it is useful in finding patterns and generalizations. And its limitations is it may oversimplify cultural interactions and ignore deeper meanings or power dynamics. And then the second approach is the interpretative approach, wherein its advantage is it offers a deep insights into how culture is lived and communicated. And its limitations is that the findings may not be generalizable to wider populations. And then the last approach is the critical approach. wherein its advantage is it helps uncover hidden power dynamics and inequalities, and its limitation is it may focus too much on critique and not enough on practical solutions. Each approach offers a unique lens. In social science, it gives structure and prediction, and in interpretative, it gives depth and context. And in the last approach, in critical approach, it gives awareness of inequality and change. A balanced understanding of intercultural communication benefits from combining all three perspectives depending on the goals and context of the study. And that's all my report. Again, I'm Cherish Villadesma. Thank you.